Hi everybody, welcome to episode 19 of the Photography Explained podcast. In this episode, the number one way to improve your photography, and my photography too. I'm your host Rick, and each week I will try to explain one photographic thing to you in plain English in less than 10 minutes without the irrelevant details. My aim is to explain things in just enough detail to help us with our photography and no more. This is a kind of a general chatty type one, the number one way to improve your photography. I've written my formal answer, which I've explained the purpose of, and here it is. All my own words, of course. The number one way to improve your photography is simply to get out and take photos. It really is that simple. Nothing else will improve your photography more than getting out and taking photos. When you go out and take photos, you are applying everything that you've learned to the process of creating new images. The magic of photography... I nearly got through that one, didn't I? The magic... Third go at the last line. The magic of photography for me is creating new images. It's hardly a difficult sentence to perfect, is it? The magic of photography. That was quite rubbish. This is take two because take one I got about 30 seconds in and just completely lost my words. So let's crack on. Proves I'm human. Proves I'm not reading all of it from a script as well. Yeah, the magic of photography. I've been practicing photography for... I don't want to admit this because it makes me feel really old. Can I say well over 30 years? That makes me sound old enough, doesn't it? I don't want to admit how old I actually am. I don't want to admit how old I am to myself because it's quite depressing. Anyway, so the magic of photography is creating new images. For me, everything to do with photography starts with creating new images. If you don't go out and create new images, what have you got? Stuff that you've already taken. Sure, I got loads of photos that I haven't ever processed, I've never got around to. Creating new images sparks everything for me. The entire process, the interest, the enjoyment. Let's go through a few things. Let me convince you that I am right. I have written here. That's quite strong words for me, isn't it? Number one in my list of 10 things. I guess I should have said 10 ways to improve your photography in 2020. That might have been a bit catchier. But no, we'll stay as we are. The number one thing being, get out and take photographs. And why is that? 1. New images give you new things to work with. Every time I take new images, I seem to learn a little bit more with them. Learning is a never-ending process. And if you think you've learned everything in photography, you're wrong. And if you think you can't get another new image, you're wrong. You can always go out and get a new image, something new to create, work with, and enjoy. Number 2. If you're out taking photographs, you're not watching TV, you're not on Netflix, you're not spending money buying stuff. You're actually out there taking photos. Get out and take photos. You're in the fresh air. It's good for you. Fresh air is good. Stopping in is not good. Get out and about, you're getting fresh air, exercise, and that is good for your mental health. Now, when I was a teenager, and in my 20s, we never talked about mental health. Mental health is very important. I think it's brilliant that it's not frowned upon anymore and that we can all talk about it openly. You get out in the fresh air, take some photos, explore some new places. Just enjoy yourself and the landscape and the environment around you. It's good for you. It's good for me. I need to do it more. As I say a lot. Number 5, as I say a lot, practice makes perfect. Think about an athlete. They don't just turn up and run 400 metres in well, I don't know how long, to be honest with you. I haven't run 400 metres for a while myself. They practice. I'd say that most people aren't born experts. They become expert by practice, which leads me seamlessly on to number 6, which is the 10,000 hour rule. Now, there is a saying, not sure what the saying is, but the meaning of the saying is something like this. To become an expert in anything, you need to apply 10,000 hours of practice. Now, I've got no idea how many hours I've applied to practice, but I'm obviously a slow learner because I've probably done a lot more than 10,000 hours. I won't say I was an expert. I'm not bad. I'm proficient. I get by. Maybe my 10,000 hours weren't spent specifically on certain things, but I was a bit all over the place, practicing everything and anything. Just had an email come in whilst I'm recording this. I thought I'd put my iPad on Do Not Disturb, but that didn't work. I should write an episode called 10 Reasons Why I Hate Apple. Hate's a strong word. Why I find some of their features slightly inconvenient. Digressing here, I have an iPhone XS. I can't use it without having it in a case because I just drop it everywhere. Why don't they make a phone that you can actually hold safely? Sorry, I digress. Number 7. If you go out and take photos, you're applying everything that you've learned. And I find that is it's enjoyable. I like learning things, but there's no point learning things if you're not going to apply them and work with them. You could sit there in front of your computer and learn everything there is to know about photography. You could be an expert in everything about photography and know more than anybody else about everything in photography. You get the point. But it's all a waste of time if you don't go out and take photos. Right, that's that one done. Number 8, you're using your gear. I've talked about this before. I will talk about this a lot more in the future. See, I have a thing about gear and this. Well, I have a perception that people talk and write about gear far too much. The gear, of course, gear is important, but important gear is important and all the other stuff is irrelevant. I bought shed loads of stuff in the past that I didn't need. Some of it I never used. Some of it I sold after applying I'd like to say my world famous 1 year rule, but A, it's not world famous. B, I don't think it's my rule. And C, well, there isn't a C. What is my 1 year rule? If I've got something that I haven't used for a year, I sell it or bin it. That includes photography gear. Made quite a few quid out of that the other year. And I don't buy any more gear unless I have a need for it. But you're getting out and about, you're using your gear. If you're out and about using your gear, what are you not doing? Number 9. You're not buying more gear because you're out using your gear. See, it's win-win-win all the way, isn't it? And you're using stuff that you've already bought and you're learning to use it, blah, blah, blah. All good stuff. Last point. I'm at risk of losing it here. Every time you go out and take photos, you're creating something new. I mean, that's just a fact. And there is one thing I will add to that, which I'm going to put on my notes here afterwards. There's only one thing I can guarantee you in photography. If you don't go out and take new photos, you won't create new photos. That's a fact. If you do go out, you might get something. You might end up with nothing. You might end up with rubbish, but there's a chance you'll get something. Don't go out, you'll get nothing. And that is what I need to do much more of myself next year. So that's that. Email from the BIPP. That's an idea for a future episode, actually. So, what's next? In the Photography Explained podcast, episode 20, I've titled this, Let's Get Technical. Blimey, I'm running out of time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing 10 minutes of your day with me. I hope you enjoyed this. Bit waffly, bit vague, but there's some good stuff in there, I think. If you like this episode, please leave a nice review and rating wherever you get your podcast from. Please let somebody know about me and my podcast. Check out my website, rickmcavoyphotography.com, where you can find out all about me and my architectural and construction photography work. You'll also find my blog, where there's lots more photography learning to be enjoyed. Lastly, I was rushing then to try and get into the 10 minutes time slot, but we're going to go to 11 minutes today because I'm feeling brave. I can't just sit in silence staring at my stopwatch, can I? I need to carry on speaking. Finally, let me know if there is a photography thing you want me to explain, and I will add it to my list. Head over to my website. Was that the first word I got wrong? Yep, just head over to my website, click on the podcast tile, and you should find all the information you need, including the recently updated list of subjects I'm going to record future episodes about. Okay, I'm done. This episode was brought to you by the power of, well, not much clearly. I've been Rick McEvoy. Thanks again for listening. Thank you for giving me 10 minutes of your valuable time. I really do appreciate it. And I will see you on the next episode. Cheers from me, Rick.